If your Social Security payment has shown up late or you're worried it might, you're not the only one, and you're exactly where you should be. Because here at Senior Money USA, we focus on helping you protect what you've earned. The Social Security Administration quietly rolled out new procedures in 2026, and as a result, thousands of seniors are already seeing delays in their checks, not because they did anything wrong, but simply because they weren't aware of what had changed, which is deeply frustrating when you've worked hard for every dollar, planned your budget around that income, and should be able to count on getting it on time. In this video, we're going to walk through what's different, why those changes are causing delays, and most importantly, the practical steps you can take right now to reduce the risk that your payment will be interrupted with no confusing government jargon and no runaround, just clear, straightforward explanations the way we always aim to do here. So stay with me all the way through, because the final tip may be the one that makes the biggest difference. And if this helps you, tapping the like button really does help more seniors see this information. To start, it may surprise you to know that SSA has made some meaningful adjustments this year in how it processes and delivers benefits. But these updates didn't come in big, bold headlines or simple letters. They were tucked into policy changes and notices that most people would never read, from start to finish, so if you didn't hear about them, that's completely understandable. But missing them can still cause problems, which is why we're going over this now. Take a breath. Because everything we're about to discuss can be dealt with once you know what's going on, and having the right information is one of the best ways to protect yourself and your income. The SSA has introduced tighter identity verification and more frequent eligibility checks beginning in early 2026. Which in plain language means Social Security now wants to confirm more often that the person receiving the benefit still qualifies under their rules, a concept that sounds reasonable on paper, but in practice has led to delays when the process isn't clearly communicated or when a notice is missed, and many seniors only discover a review is underway when a deposit fails to arrive. Imagine someone like Dorothy, a 74-year-old living on her own in a small Ohio town, who has seen her social Security check land in her bank account like clockwork every second Wednesday for 9 years. She structures her budget around it, from utilities to groceries to prescriptions. Then one month the money doesn't show up. She checks with her bank, waits another day. Still nothing, and calls her daughter in a panic, only to learn later that SSA had placed her account into a routine eligibility review and temporarily stopped payment because she hadn't responded to a letter she didn't fully understand. Stories like Dorothy's are playing out every week, often catching people off guard because they had no warning. So how does a review get triggered in the first place? It can happen for several reasons: a change of address, new banking details, certain audit cycles, or sometimes because someone else in the household has a change in income or circumstances. And even if your own situation hasn't changed, the system can still flag your file. A notice is then mailed, and if that letter is overlooked, misread, or thrown out with junk mail, a countdown toward a potential delay begins. It's crucial to realize that SSA still relies heavily on regular postal mail-in. 2026, and in a world where our mailboxes fill up with catalogs, ads, Medicare flyers, and insurance offers, it's very easy for an important envelope to blend in or be discarded by mistake. This isn't your fault. But it is something to be aware of now. SSA letters typically arrive in plain white envelopes with a Social Security return address, and inside you'll see your claim or benefit number at the top, along with an explanation of what information they need from you and a specific deadline to reply. That deadline is serious. Missing it is one of the most common causes of delays. In a few minutes, I'll share a simple step you can take to reduce the chance of ever missing a notice again. But first, it's important to understand what actually happens if a payment is delayed because of one of these reviews. If your benefit is held up for that reason, the money itself is not erased or taken away. It's placed in a pending status until SSA completes its review, and once things are cleared, your regular payment schedule is restored and any missed check is usually sent separately, so in most cases you do not lose your entitlement permanently. The challenge is the gap in cash flow if you rely on that income to pay monthly bills. Even a delay of a couple of weeks can cause real stress, which is why it's far better to get ahead of these issues than to try to fix them after a delay has already occurred. One of the most effective things you can do right now is to set up a personal My Social Security account online at SSA.gov if you don't already have one. Yes, dealing with online systems can feel bothersome, but this particular account gives you direct access to your payment history, your current status, and most importantly, digital copies of any notices or messages SSA has sent you, so you're not relying solely on mailed letters that can be lost or mixed in with other papers. If you're not comfortable setting it up on your own, ask a trusted family member or friend to help, or visit a library or community resource center where staff can often walk you through the process step by step at no charge. It generally takes only about 15 minutes to create and, once done, gives you a reliable window into your SSA record whenever you need it. Next, check your contact information. This may sound basic, but outdated addresses, phone numbers, or direct deposit details are one of the leading reasons SSA notices and payments go astray if you've moved, switched banks, or changed phone numbers in the past few years. It's essential to make sure SSA has your current information on file. You can update this via your online account by calling SSA's main line at 1-800-77113, or by going in person to your local office, whichever route is easiest for you. The key is not to put it off, because a few minutes of checking now can save you weeks of worry later. It's also helpful to know that SSA's telephone hours have been extended in 2026, and you can reach them Monday through Friday from roughly 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in your own time zone. Call volumes still spike on Mondays and Fridays, so if you can, aim for midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday for shorter waits. There's one more piece many people overlook: a particular kind of letter that looks a bit different from a standard review notice and often carries terms like request for reconsideration or notice of planned action near the top. These indicate that SSA is considering a change or has made a preliminary decision affecting your benefits and is giving you a limited window to respond or appeal. If a letter like that arrives, don't ignore it and don't assume you have plenty of time. Call SSA as soon as you can, say you've received the notice, and ask them to explain what it means and what your options are within the stated time frame. You do have rights in this process, including the right to clarify information and to appeal decisions, but those rights are time-sensitive. While we're on the subject of support, think about whether there is someone in your life, a son, daughter, grandchild, niece, neighbor, or close friend, you trust enough to help you keep an eye on important mail or online notices. This isn't about your ability to handle things, it's about being wise enough to use a second set of eyes when dealing with bureaucracy, which can trip up anyone at any age. The seniors who avoid many of these problems aren't necessarily the ones who memorize every SSA rule, but those who stay connected, informed, and who have someone they can turn to when something confusing arrives. And that's also the role we're trying to fill here for you. Just by watching this entire video, you've already taken an important step that many people never get around to, and that willingness to stay informed can make a real difference. So to pull everything together, SSA's updated 2026 procedures have changed how eligibility checks are handled and have led to some delayed payments when notices are missed, contact information is outdated, or reviews are triggered without the recipient fully realizing what's happening. This isn't about you doing anything wrong. It's about a system that doesn't always communicate in a user-friendly way, but now that you know the mechanics, you can stay a step ahead. Watch your mail intentionally and open any envelope from SSA promptly. Set up and use your My Social Security account at ssa.gov so you can cross-check notices and payment status online. Confirm that SSA has your current address, phone number, and bank details. And if you receive a more serious-sounding letter about a pending action or reconsideration, call promptly to discuss it before any deadline passes. At Senior Money USA, our whole reason for being is to sit on your side of the table, to translate complicated rules into plain language, and to keep you informed without adding unnecessary fear. We know that navigating Social Security, Medicare, and other retirement-related issues can sometimes feel like a maze, and we're here to walk through it with you. If this video helped, Please hit the like button so more people can find it. Consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Share this with any friend or family member who receives Social Security and may not be aware of the 2026 changes. And leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, whether you've experienced any delays, or what questions you still have. We read every comment because your feedback guides what we cover next. You've spent a lifetime working and contributing. You've earned these benefits, and you deserve to receive them without confusion, stress, or avoidable delay. We'll be here in the next video with more information to help you stay informed and secure. And remember that at Senior Money USA, we're committed to watching out for you.